Get a new remote hire on the team. Capable, eager, and ready to go. First week, you hand them the passwords, walk them through your case management system, show them where the files live, and then you assume they know how to operate. But here's the thing, you just onboarded them to your tools. You never onboarded them to how you actually work. I am Magdalena Madrigal, hiring specialist here at Legal Staff Now. We've helped hundreds of law firms build the teams behind their growth. We're an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company, and our work's been featured in Bloomberg Law. My whole world is helping growing firms build the hiring infrastructure that gets the right people into the right seats before the growth even demands it. And this is where I see most remote hires fail. Most onboarding is a password checklist, system access, login credentials, maybe a tour of the file server. Logistics necessary but incomplete. Then your new hire goes quiet. They're technically capable, they can navigate your tools, but something's off. Judgment calls feel wrong, they miss the quality bar, and they ask questions that make you realize they never actually learned how you operate. Logins aren't the thing that makes someone effective. It's the unwritten standards, how you actually want things done, the team's expectations, the why we do it this way, the examples of work that's great versus not good enough. Your veterans absorbed it by osmosis. They watched you, heard you talk about cases, and saw how you responded when something's wrong. Over months, they figured out your culture without anyone teaching it to them explicitly. Remote hires get zero osmosis. They can't overhear you in the hallway. They don't see what a difficult client conversation actually looks like. So if you don't transfer the culture deliberately, they operate correctly on the tools and wrongly on the judgment calls. And that's why remote hires feel like a bad fit for the first quarter. Not because they can't do the work, but because nobody taught them how you do the work. This failure gets in the way of the formation of an emotional connection between the new hire and the company. That emotional connection doesn't come from learning the systems. It comes from understanding why the firm does what it does. So what's actually missing from your current onboarding? 3 core things: the standards, the why, and the examples. Put the standard in writing. Show them an example of an intake memo that you'd actually send out. What's the bar? Because your judgment calls are built on your values, if you don't understand why you do something, they'll bypass it when it feels convenient. The story sticks way longer than the rule. One real example is worth 10 policy documents. Build this into your first 30 days of onboarding. Not on day 1, they're still overwhelmed with passwords and logins, but by day 10, start introducing the culture piece. Schedule a dedicated conversation each week where you're not explaining systems, you're explaining how the firm actually thinks about work. By week 2, introduce the standards for their core role. Here's what great work looks like. Here's what we'd never accept. By week 3, the why behind those standards. Tell them a real story about what happened when someone missed it or nailed it. Week 4, take the real case and walk them through how you'd handle it, the standards and the why showing up in real time. That's culture transfer, not guessing. You're being deliberate about passing on how the firm actually works instead of waiting months for them to figure it out. Remote hires especially need this clarity. They can't text you a question and expect a casual hallway answer. So write it down and be explicit. When onboarding includes culture alongside logistics, people stick. They feel like they belong faster, and they deliver like they're part of your team instead of the outside resource for the first 6 months. This matters even more with virtual staff. A remote hire can master your tools in a week, but without the culture piece, they're still an outsider and it'll show. Start treating onboarding as a design problem and not a checkbox. What are the 3 standards your new hire absolutely has to understand? What's the real story that explains your why? And what example will actually stick? Write those down, schedule them, deliver them in the first month deliberately the way you'd onboard a leader instead of just a resource. Now, this doesn't require a heavy process. Just deliberate conversations and real examples woven into the first 30 days instead of assumed on the back end. Culture transfer is onboarding's real job. Logins get them in the door. Culture gets them integrated into how your firm actually works fast, so they feel like a real fit from month 2 and not month 5. If you're bringing on virtual staff or planning to, and you want them integrated into your culture from day 1, let's talk through how to build that onboarding structure. Book a call with us.